morning. My journal topic is Remdesivir in adults with severe COVID-19. It is a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled, multicenter trial which is published online in the Lancet Journal on 29th of April 2020. The moderator is Dr. Tanmay Bhatt. Since the first few cases were reported in December 2019, the infection with SARS-CoV-2 causing COVID-19 has become a worldwide pandemic. Currently, the pandemic has infected more than 5 million cases in the world and more than 40,000 patients in our country alone, with around 1,200 deaths in the country. The symptoms of COVID 19 vary widely from asymptomatic disease to pneumonia and life threatening complications, including ARDS, multi organ dysfunction syndrome, and ultimately leading to death. Although several approved drugs and investigational agents have shown antiviral activity against the SARS CoV 2 in vitro, at present, there are no antiviral therapies of proven effectiveness in treating severely ill patients with COVID 19. There are certain large randomized controlled trials done across the world regarding certain antiviral drugs. One of them being HCQ, which is an anti-malarial drug involving 150 adults, reported no significant effect on the drug on accelerating the viral clearance. A randomized control trial enrolling patients within 12 days from the symptom onset found favipiravir was superior to Arbidol in terms of clinical recovery at day 7 for mild illness patients, but not in those with critical illness. Favipiravir is an antiviral medication that was used to treat influenza in Japan, and it is sold as Avigan. It selectively inhibits the RNA dependent RNA polymerase and is approved for drug trials in India. Umifinovir, also sold as Arbidol, is used to treat influenza in China and Russia. It is not an FDA approved drug for treatment of influenza. Oral lopinavir and ritonavir are antiretroviral drugs which were used, and it showed no significant effect on primary outcome or measure in the reduction in viral RNA titers. Early use of convalescent plasma therapy has shown some benefit in reducing the days of ICU care and need for mechanical ventilation. However, studies are still under research. Remdesivir or GS5734 is a prodrug of adenosine analog with a broad spectrum antiviral activity for filoviruses, paramyxoviruses, pneumoviruses, and coronaviruses. It is a potent inhibitor of the SARS-CoV-2 replication in human nasal and bronchial airway epithelial cells. In vitro, remdesivir inhibits all the animal and human coronaviruses that are tested till date, including SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-1, and even the MERS-CoV. Case studies have reported benefit in severely in patients with COVID 19. However, the clinical and antiviral efficacy of remdesivir in COVID 19 still remains to be established. The aim of our study is to assess the effectiveness and the safety of intravenous remdesivir in adults admitted to our hospital with severe COVID 19. It is a investigator initiated, individually randomized, placebo controlled, multicentral, double blind trial. We've included all the men and non pregnant women above the age of 18 years with RT PCR positive report for SARS CoV 2, which is causing COVID 19. These patients also have pneumonia confirmed by chest x ray, saturation of less than 94% in room air, or FiO2 less than 300 mm of mercury within 12 days of symptom onset. We've excluded patients who are pregnant or breastfeeding, those with hepatic cirrhosis or raised liver enzymes, AST/ALT more than 5 times the upper normal limit, who's a known case of kidney disorder with a glomerular filtration rate of less than 30 ml per minute, or those who are on renal replacement therapy, possibility of transfer to a non-COVID hospital within 72 hours after initiation of the study. However, use of other treatments including lopinavir, ritonavir was permitted in our study. Our study area included 10 hospitals in the Hubei province in China. Eligible patients were randomly assigned in a 2:1 ratio to either the remdesivir group or the placebo group. In each group, stratified randomization was done according to the respiratory support. Patients were again further subdivided into those who required no oxygen support or oxygen support only with nasal cannula or mask, or those who required high flow oxygen, non-invasive ventilation, invasive ventilation, or ECMO. Patients received either IV remdesivir 200 mg on the first day, followed by 100 mg once daily on day 2 to day 10, or same volume of placebo infusions for 10 days, both which were provided by the Gilead Sciences of California in USA. Patients were then assessed once daily using dairy cards that were provided to this nursing staff that contained 6 category ordinal scale from day 1 to day 28 or death, whichever is earlier. Ordinal scale, that's a 6-point ordinal scale, would mean this. 0.6 would indicate death. 0.5 is hospital admission, where patients are put on ECMO or mechanical ventilation. 0.4 is hospital admission, those who require non-invasive ventilation or high flow oxygen. Patients who require hospital admission for oxygen therapy using either a nasal cannula or mask are under group 3. Group 2 is hospital admission not requiring oxygen. And 0.1 is patients who are discharged or clinically recovered. Clinical recovery is when patient is afebrile with no cough or cold, respiratory rate less than 24 cycles per minute, saturation of more than 94% on room air, all of the above symptoms and signs staying for at least 72 hours. Methodology. Our clinical data were collected using the International Severe Acute Respiratory Illness Case Record, which also included the clinical lab testing done on day 1, day 3, day 7, and day 10. Also, 12 lead ECG was done twice during the hospital stay on day 1 and day 14, and vitals were monitored daily. Nasopharyngeal swab or oropharyngeal swab, expectorated sputum if available, and fecal or anal swab specimens were collected on days 1, day 3, day 5, 7, 10, 14, 21, and 28 to look for the viral RNA load. Totally 255 participants were screened, of which 237 were enrolled after excluding patients who are not in our eligibility criteria. They were randomly assigned into two groups, that is the remdesivir group and the placebo group, in a ratio of 2:1. Finally, 158 patients were assigned in the remdesivir group and 79 patients in the placebo group, of which only 155 patients were started on the study treatment and 78 patients were started in the placebo treatment. The outcomes that were measured were, the primary outcome is to measure the time to clinical improvement within 28 days after randomization. Clinical improvement here is a 2-point reduction in the 6-point ordinal scale at the time of assessment. The 6-point ordinal scale was measured daily, and clinical improvement meant a 2-point reduction on consecutive days. Secondary outcome would mean proportions of patients in each category of 6-point scale at day 7, day 14, and day 28 in both the groups separately. Also, to measure the frequency of patients requiring mechanical ventilation, the duration of oxygen therapy. The drug safety outcome of remdesivir was also measured, which included the adverse effects and the reasons for premature discontinuation of the drug. So, coming to the results, the median age of the study patients were 65 years, that is 66 in the remdesivir group and 64 in the placebo group, so median age being 65 years. The most common comorbidities was hypertension followed by diabetes and coronary artery disease. It was also found that majority of patients in remdesivir group had patients who had comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, and coronary artery disease. Most patients who were enrolled were in category 3 in the 6-point ordinal scale on the initial evaluation, that is on day 1 of evaluation. Lopinavir and ritonavir was co-administered for 42 patients at baseline, that is 17% of patients in the remdesivir group and 19% of patients in the placebo group. Patients were also conservatively managed with other antibiotics and corticosteroids at baseline. Higher number of patients admitted in the remdesivir group was found to require oxygen support. The median time from symptom onset to starting the study treatment was around 10 days. However, there were no significant differences which are apparent between the groups in other treatments received, that is those receiving vasopressors, renal replacement therapy, oxygen support, antibiotics, etc. Numerically lesser number of patients in the remdesivir group required invasive ventilator support, although it is not statistically significant, but numerically lesser number of patients in the remdesivir group required the mechanical ventilation. The 28-day mortality was similar between the two groups, although numerically higher in the placebo group, that is around 15 patients, that is 7 out of the 47 patients in the placebo group. Clinical improvements at day 14 and day 28 were also similar, but numerically higher in the remdesivir group. The time to clinical improvement was also around 21 days, the mean around 21 days in the remdesivir group and 23 days in the placebo group. Although it is not statistically significant, but the numerical value is lower in the remdesivir group. Patients enrolled to receive remdesivir also had decreased duration of invasive mechanical ventilation, although there were no significant differences that were expressed between the two groups. The duration of hospital stay was almost similar in both the groups, around 24 to 25 days. Regarding the viral RNA load, of the total 236 patients enrolled in our study, 37, that is 19% of the 196 patients with data available had undetectable viral RNA on NPS, that is nasopharyngeal swab, and oropharyngeal swab measured on the day of admission, that is at the baseline. The mean viral RNA loads at baseline and gradual decrease in viral loads over the 28 days were similar in both the groups, but slightly more rapid decline in load was seen in the remdesivir group. This is regarding the adverse effects of the drug remdesivir. Adverse effects were observed in 1 or 2 patients in the remdesivir group, 1 or 2 of 155 patients, that is 66% of the patients, and 50 of the 78 patients in the placebo group as well. And the common adverse effects were constipation, which is the most common, 14%, hypoalbuminemia, hypokalemia, anemia, and altered liver enzymes. The serious adverse effects were in 18% of the patients of the remdesivir group and 26% of patients in the placebo group. The serious adverse effect included the respiratory failure or acute respiratory distress syndrome, pulmonary embolism, cardiac arrest, etc. However, only 18% of the patients had adverse effects that led to discontinuation of the drug. The adverse effects here were also respiratory failure or secondary infections that was not accountable to any other source. Coming to discussion, our trial with IV remdesivir did not significantly improve the time to clinical improvement, the mortality, or the time to clearance of virus in patients with serious COVID-19 compared to placebo. However, patients treated with remdesivir within 10 days of symptom onset showed numerical reduction of 5 days in median time to clinical improvement. It was just numerical reduction of 5 days. Preclinical studies have showed significant decrease in the SARS-CoV-1 lung titers and the SARS-CoV-2 RNA loads in the upper and lower respiratory tract, but did not decrease the disease severity or mortality. Pharmacokinetics of remdesivir in severely ill patients are still unknown, but even doses of 150 mg per day of remdesivir for 14 days have been adequately tolerated in healthy adults with minimum side effects. However, in our study, we are using only 200 milligram dose on the first day, followed by 100 mg for the remaining 10 days. But doses up to 150 mg have been seen to be tolerated. Studies of higher dose regimens are still in consideration, but our study found that remdesivir was adequately tolerated and no new safety concerns were identified. Overall, proportions of patients with serious adverse effects tended to be lower in the remdesivir group than in the placebo group. However, higher proportions of patients receiving remdesivir had dosing prematurely stopped by the investigators because of adverse effects, which include respiratory distress and secondary infection. However, there are a few limitations in our study. One of the limitation was low study sample because of stringent public health measures in China, because there were no new patients that were enrolled in our study in the mid-March because of the rapid decline in cases. Adequate assessment whether early remdesivir treatment might have had a clinical benefit and possibility of emergence of reduced susceptibility of virus to drug have still not been studied. Frequent use of corticosteroids might have promoted viral replication as seen in similar viruses that have previously affected our population, that is the MERS and the SARS viruses, which is reported to prolong the duration of the viral RNA detection and not the infectious virus. The benefit with longer treatment course and higher antibiotic dose of remdesivir have not yet been studied. To summarize, the dose regimen of remdesivir was adequately tolerated. Statistically significant results were not obtained. However, clinically meaningful differences and numerical reductions in some clinical parameters were noted. Extensive multi-center trials are conducted across the world for further understanding of the drug and virus. So this is the drug, that is remdesivir, and it was Dr. Fauci in USA who made sure that this drug got USA approval. It is manufactured in the Gilead Sciences, and this was seen in a USA study where the mortality rate in remdesivir was only about 8%, while that of placebo was 11%, and the duration of illness was reduced from 15 days to 11 days on using remdesivir. There are numerous other studies with remdesivir, one of them being the Adaptive COVID-19 trial, also called as the ACTT trial. Here, 1,063 patients were over 70 hospitals globally were studied. Remdesivir administered as IV, 200 mg on day 1 and 100 mg once daily for 2 to 10 days, similar to our study. And the result was that patients given remdesivir had a recovery time that was almost a third, that is 31% faster than those given on placebo. Preliminary results showed a lower mortality rate, that is 8% to 11.6%, which was not found to be statistically significant. The source of this study is NIAID website. It is still study is still ongoing. Final results are still to be concluded. Next study is the Gilead Sciences phase 3 simple trial. There were two sets of trials. One is a simple 1 trial and next is a simple 2 trial. In simple 1 trial, there was a phase 1 trial where 397 hospitalized patients were considered. Here, a 5-day course of remdesivir is compared with that of a 10-day course. This is, however, recently expanded, where 180 trial sites around the world, which included USA, China, even India with recent approval, with 5,600 patients were considered. This is the phase 2 trial, which is still ongoing. Preliminary results showed that reported almost 2/3 of the patients, that is 129 of 200, recovered by the day 14 after just a 5-day course. A longer treatment provided no additional benefit. The Simple 2 trial is to evaluate the safety and efficacy of 5-day and 10-day dosing duration of IV remdesivir in patients with moderate manifestations of COVID-19 compared to that of the standard care. This is another trial where compassionate use of remdesivir for patients with severe COVID-19 published in the New England Journal of Medicine, done in UK. This showed that in a cohort of patients hospitalized for severe COVID-19, clinical improvement was observed in 36 of the 53 patients, that is about 68% of the patients. However, the sample size being very low, measurement of efficacy will require ongoing randomized placebo-controlled trial, and this was also, however, funded by the Gilead Sciences. Recently, FDA has authorized remdesivir as for treatment for COVID-19 drug, and even in India, this approval has come, and India is included in the phase trial. Dr. Ganguly has told that remdesivir can also be manufactured in India with a little help and FDA approval. In addition to remdesivir, there are numerous other drug trials. The initial drug trial was on hydroxychloroquine that was started as early as December 2020. The recent drug trial in India, that is in Maharashtra Grant Medical College, is about the tocilizumab. Other numerous drug trials on remdesivir, anti-SARS-CoV-2 virus, cobicistat and darunavir, leflunomide, pirfenidone, etc. are still considered. And remdesivir is considered as a breakthrough drug in the quest for COVID-19 viruses because this mainly stops the viral replication. Thank you.